Come on, goats. Come on. Well, what's up guys? This is Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and this evening I'm out here trying to get the goats back to the barn. They've been off in another field grazing, and I wanted to bring them back to the house because I need to check on everybody. We're getting close to kidding season. This is early January. We should start kidding out in early February. So we've got about a month, and went to the store the other day and picked up some supplies because when I get to that point where we're about a month from kidding season, we've got some vaccines, and I'm gonna go ahead and worm my goats. You guys know I raise mostly Kikos. They're pretty parasite resistant, but as we're approaching kidding season, I want my does to be good and healthy. But that's not what this video is about. This video is gonna be more about eating goat and hamburger meat, goat burger, and why in the world would we want to butcher and process a goat to eat it? So if you subscribe to our channel, you know about a month or two ago, we processed 3 goats for the first time. And the meat has been phenomenal. A lot of people just don't understand why someone would raise goats and butcher them for food. And I want to kind of cover that a little bit because, you know, it's what we've been talking about a lot lately, and it's kind of a hot topic. And a lot of people just don't understand it. So we'll cover things like, first off, why in the world we would do it. And then we'll cover things like nutritional value. Come on, goats. Come on, let's go. Let's go, come on. Come on, goats. Come on, goats. Woo! Come on, goats. Come on, goats. Woo! So meat goats are a very easy animal to start out with on a small farm or homestead. A lot of people don't want to start off with something like a cow. Obviously, we've raised cattle in the past, and we've butchered cows in the past. And one thing about butchering a cow is it'll fill up your freezer. It's going to supply you with a year's plus worth of meat. Now with goats, obviously much smaller size, you're butchering an animal that is anywhere from 50 to 100 pounds versus, you know, 600 to 1,000 pounds with a cow. So goats are just easier, they're easier to take care of. They're easier to raise. I raise Kiko, you guys know that, because Kikos are a very hardy goat. They can grow a lot of meat with a lot less input. When it comes to a lot of other breeds of goats, it takes a lot more feed to get that meat out of them. Or with cattle, you're really gonna have to put the feed to them or have a lot of grass. Goats, you can do on a small place. So, goat meat, what's it like? Everybody's been wanting to know, what does the goat meat taste like? And we did a cooking video with the goat chops. If you missed that, go back and watch that. Smoked those goat chops on our barrel house cooker, and they were excellent. But the majority of what we had processed this time is hamburger meat. So naturally, a lot of people have been asking about the hamburger meat. What does it taste like? What's it compared to? Is it like venison? Is it like lamb? Is it like beef? And I don't know how to say it the best, because it doesn't taste just like any of those. Bear, you know, I know you love me, buddy, but you gotta let me talk. So the goat hamburger meat doesn't really taste just like venison. It doesn't taste just like lamb. It's different. It doesn't taste just like beef. Get back. But the best thing I would say it would compare to, really? They can't even see me, Bear. Come on, man, back up. I would compare it closest to a very mild venison or beef with almost no fat. So goats obviously don't have a lot of fat on them. Really? they don't have a lot of fat on them. So the meat is much more, in my opinion, it's much more nutritious. I'm gonna read some nutrition facts in a few minutes that I pulled up online. And because I can't just quote them, I can't remember them all, so I'll just read them off to you. But the goat hamburger meat, how do we use it? A lot of people wanna know what kind of recipes we're using it for. Guys, I use goat hamburger meat. These dogs. Bella, hey, you two just need to knock it off. Chill. So we use goat hamburger meat just like we would beef hamburger meat. So we would use it in anything from chilies and soups and stews to like lasagna or meatballs. I haven't actually just made a hamburger patty and cooked just a hamburger, sit bear, and cooked just a hamburger out of the goat meat, because goat, as I said, has a very low fat ratio. So like a hamburger patty, you're gonna have to add some sort of fat to it. You may mix it with ground beef, or sometimes my wife will take like a Polish sausage and put it in a food processor and mix that in there to kind of up that fat content so it doesn't dry out. It's just like venison. When you cook a deer meat, Bella, chill. When you cook deer meat, you have to be careful not to overcook it. Same with the goats. You do not want to overcook goat meat. But as I said, I wanted to read you some nutritional facts. Guys, here's the thing. I know not everyone, well, almost no one in America is comfortable with eating goat because it's just not popular in America. And that's kind of why I've been doing all these meat goat videos, is to try to push that, because I am super impressed with the flavor, the taste, the quality of the meat, how easy it is to raise. So I want to kind of spread that awareness that goat meat is good meat. Huh, Bear? Goats are good, aren't they, buddy? So I went to a website, I did some research, and I just want to read a little bit of this to you guys. I got this off of livestrong.com, and I'll leave a link in the description box to this article below, but let me read you a few things. Goat meat is a healthy alternative to beef and chicken because of a lower calorie rate. It also has lower fat and total cholesterol. A staple in North African and Middle Eastern cuisine, goat meat is 63% of the red meat consumed worldwide. Obviously, goat meat is the most popular red meat in the world. Let me scroll down a little bit. A 3-ounce portion of goat meat has 122 calories, which is considerably less than beef at 179 and chicken at 162. So it has less calories than beef and chicken. In terms of fat, goat is much leaner than more readily available meats. Goat meat has 2.6 grams of total fat per 3-ounce serving. Bear, you gotta sit, buddy. A serving of goat meat represents just 4% of your daily value of total fat based on a 2,000 calorie diet. The Harvard School of Public Health recommends avoiding red meat or choosing only the leanest cuts, because red meat is notoriously high in saturated fat, which can boost your cholesterol levels in the blood and contribute to heart disease. But with just 0.79 grams of saturated fat per serving, goat is a heart-healthy alternative to beef and chicken's 3 grams and 1.7 grams respectively. So obviously it's got a lot less saturated fat because it has a lot less fat. Let's see, if you're watching your ever important cholesterol levels, goat meat can again be a nutritious alternative to other meats. I'm not gonna read all that, you guys can read that article. Protein. Animal meat is a source of complete proteins, which are proteins containing 8 amino acids, and your body cannot create its own. Many people struggle to have a balance. Many people struggle to balance meat's high protein and high fat content. Goat's 23 grams of protein per serving is comparable to the 25 grams per serving of beef and chicken. So it's almost as much protein, meaning you won't have to sacrifice a key protein source, which that's, you know, the whole debate between us and the vegans, you know. Anyways, so I will leave a link to this article in the description box down below, because there are just so many good benefits to having goat meat in your freezer, and it just tastes great. I mean, I could probably preach this all day long, but unless I could actually physically put, are we out of focus here? As always. Unless I could physically put some goat meat in your freezer and let you guys cook it yourself, you're not gonna believe me, but I'm gonna keep preaching it anyways because I truly believe it. The other day, my wife and I laid out some goat meat to cook some hamburger meat from one of the goats we just processed. And as I'm cooking it up, I'm just frying it in a skillet, and I really don't remember what she was gonna make, spaghetti or tacos or something. And as it's getting close to being done, I just start eating it straight out of the skillet. And the flavor is phenomenal without putting anything on it. Just, I was kind of afraid, personally, I was afraid when we butchered them that they would have a little bit of a gamey taste, that it may not be what we were used to. My wife's a pretty picky eater when it comes to meat. She's not a big fan of venison, so I was a little worried that she wouldn't like our goat meat. And I'm telling you what, it blows my mind, the quality and the freshness. And guys, it really does make a difference when you go out there and you put your time, your energy, your, as silly as it sounds, your heart and soul into something as silly as raising goats on your own land, and then you harvest them and put that meat in your freezer. Guys, the flavor, it just does something for it. It just does something for the taste. Huh, Bear, you like it, don't you? Yeah, buddy. It just does something for you. I mean, it just gives me, I'm sure it does, so many of you would probably agree, this feeling of security, this feeling of pride, being able to put that food on your table that you know how it was raised. A lot of people in the comments in the last couple videos kind of talking about the vegan situation, and people, you know, bashing us because of what we're eating. They just don't understand. Until you go out there and grow your own food and harvest it, put it in your freezer, you just won't understand. Huh, Bear? Well, guys, I'm gonna quit rambling on. It's getting dark. We're losing light fast. I need to feed the goats because they're hungry. I called them up to the barn and didn't feed them yet, so they're getting kind of worried. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to cover that a little bit because we've been getting so many questions about what does goat hamburger meat taste like? What do we do with the goat hamburger meat? For whatever reason, people are under the impression that you can't use it just like beef. It's no different. It's no different than people going to the store and buying ground turkey meat to replace their hamburger meat. It's the same thing. We use the goat hamburger just like we would goat hamburger. I'm sorry. We use the goat hamburger meat just like we would beef hamburger meat. It's no different, except the flavor. I love it. Now, she may not agree with me, but anyways, I'm not gonna go there. Guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day, and as always, we'll see you on the next video.